Hi, this is Vicki from Brewery Products, here with an episode of Beer Talk on WOYK. Joining us today is Jason Mininger from Aldus Brewing in Hanover, PA. So Jason, another history is the location of your brewery. What's the story behind where you're at now?
Yes, we are actually in the original Snyder's of Hanover factory. So this is the first factory that Snyder's purchased way back in the day and began making pretzels out of. It's been here for, my gosh, I think since the 20s or 30s, and it's got great bones to it. And the fact that we're still making a fermented product, I think, is pretty neat. We're kind of keeping the lineage going along there.
And actually, my next question was going to be about beer, but now that we're talking about pretzels, I'm going to segue into your love of cooking. The fact that you actually use some of the beer ingredients in what you're making, and some of it's pretty unique.
Absolutely. We make a beer cheese that is a secret recipe that uses several different kinds of our beer in that recipe. We make a beer mustard, all from scratch. And we also, one of the things we do with beer that is close to expiration date, we actually have a malt vinegar program where we push that over into that program so we don't waste it. We're not adding any additional stress to the sewer lines by dumping beer. We're actually utilizing it and letting it age. We use that to serve for salad dressings. We make malt glazes with it. We also use beer just about anything else we can. We do to-go meals occasionally. We'll do beer braised beef and all kinds of different recipes.
Oh, that's awesome. So basically no waste at Aldus is what it sounds like.
That's one of our goals.
You're making beer. What's your favorite style to make?
My favorite style to make, the last couple of years, I've been really into Belgians and bourbon barrel-aged beers. Our Red Rye Revival was a beer that we started off making when we first opened. We've been cellaring 10 cases every year, and that's probably got to be one of my favorite. That beer is aged in used bourbon casks for a year prior to being released.
That's a great style of beer. What is your favorite, let's call it mainstream style of beer, obviously in the craft version, but what would that be for the average beer drinker if they came in? What would you suggest for them?
For me, if you're new to craft beer or if you don't want something heavy or hoppy, I still drink our American Blonde religiously. It was one of the first beers we ever made. It's a modified recipe from an old German Kolsch recipe, and it's crisp, it's clean. I find myself going to that more frequently than anything else. It's just, I love all the fun beers. I love our pretzel beer. I love even our hoppy session. I love it. I just sometimes want a clean, crisp beer. That's usually what I go to.